Hey, Daphne Wilson here. And today I want to take you guys back to my very first year investing in mortgage notes. I purchased 6 mortgage notes that year, and let me tell you, each one taught me something. I made money or both. If you have ever wondered what actually happens after you buy a note, then this video is for you. Before I get started, if you're new here, welcome to my channel where I'll be sharing my personal experience as a mortgage note investor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I post new content. All right, let's get started. So when I first got started investing in notes back in 2014, I had no real estate or finance experience. I was working in IT for over 25 years in corporate America. I had a deep desire to work smarter and not harder and create passive income for myself so that I could just really enjoy the second half of my life. I decided on real estate because it's estimated actually that 90% of millionaires in the United States have real estate in their portfolio. I decided on notes because I wanted truly passive monthly income. And I figured since homeowners pay their mortgage for anywhere from 10 to 30 years, that cash flow would take me well into my retirement years without me having to, continue to work part-time or, I would just really be able to relax and enjoy my retirement years, not on a fixed income. So let me say too, before I get started here, that I purchased these mortgage notes using my own money, my own funds. I leveraged my income from my regular job, any bonuses that I received, as well as tax refunds, basically any money that I received extra, I would put that towards buying my mortgage notes. So I never took out a loan. And that's true to this day. I never took out a loan to buy mortgage notes at any time. So let me walk you guys through exactly what happened with all 6 notes that I purchased that first year. I'm going to break down the good, the challenging, and also a surprise. So I had one note that was actually surprisingly profitable that I'm going to tell you guys about as well. So let's get into it. Um, the first note, we're going to call that the payoff. I purchased a note on a single family residential property in Jacksonville, Florida. And the borrowers were a couple in their late 60s, almost 70. I reached out to them to introduce myself as the new lender on their second mortgage and to find out how they would like to move forward with their account. I ended up talking to the wife, who basically said, at our age, we don't really want to pay 2 mortgages anymore. Um, she said, my husband and I decided that we're going to pay off this second mortgage completely and then focus on paying down the first mortgage so that we can be done. And what she did was she ended up wire transferring the remaining balance on that mortgage to my business checking account. I created a satisfaction of mortgage document, filed it with the county recorder of deeds, and we were done. That was a quick exit, clean profit. The next, note number 2, was a discounted payoff. The next note was on a condominium in Chicago, Illinois, which is my hometown. The borrower had not paid her mortgage in over 4 years and owed a lot of money in missed payments, interest, and late fees. She also owned a company that had contracts with the city of Chicago. And as a result, she could not have a foreclosure or bankruptcy on her personal record. So knowing that, I figured that would be motivation enough for her to work out that mortgage loan with me. And since I purchased it at a discount, I was actually able to allow her to pay off that mortgage for less than what she owed and still make a very nice profit. So it was a fairly large second mortgage. We settled on an $80,000 payoff amount. And what she ended up doing was she wire transferred half of the funds, $40,000. Um, and then she wire transferred the second payment of $40,000 30 days later. And the reason she did that was because she had half of the amount, but she didn't have the other half. And so she ended up borrowing money from her family members to come up with the second half of the payment. And so she completely paid off that mortgage, and it took 30 days for her to do so. And so again, that worked out quite nicely. Now, note number 3 and 4 is what happens for me the majority of the time, right? So these two borrowers, they were behind actually about 5 years in payments. So they were pretty close to the statute of limitations when I bought those loans. But after really a little communication with them and offering some affordable loan modification options, they actually got back on track. Usually when I'm working with my homeowners, I come up with about 4 or 5 different options, and I let them choose which one they feel is going to be the most comfortable for them. And of course, I do this after I've received their financials and all that. So I restructured their payments, which, gave them some breathing room. They were easily able to afford those payments every month. And to this day, these same 2 notes are still cash flowing every single month. Passive income, baby, right? So that's the whole reason, for doing this type of investment in the first place is, passive income. So note number 5 was different. So there's a little bit of a twist to this one, okay? So um, this borrower filed Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which was not what I expected. Apparently, when she got the notification that the loan had been sold to my company, and I reached out to her to see, to provide her with the status of the account and to find out how she would like to move forward, that scared her, and she felt like, she needed to protect herself and file bankruptcy. Okay, which I understand that. Okay, that part wasn't a surprise. I just wasn't expecting to have to deal with a bankruptcy note. So, it's one of my first mortgage notes that I bought. But here's why it wasn't such a bad thing, and it actually ended up working out. I made sure that there was equity in the property above the first mortgage before I bought the note. Okay, and that's key. That means that the bankruptcy court had to acknowledge my lien on the property. Okay, and today I still get monthly payments from the bankruptcy trustee. Now, not for this particular loan, because this was one of my first mortgage notes, but this is not an unusual situation for me because I try to always make sure that there's equity in the property so that in the event there's a bankruptcy, then my lien is still able to be enforced. So in this particular case, the bankruptcy trustee would make payments every single month, like clockwork. Okay, and in the note industry, we call this mailbox money because it doesn't get automatically deposited via ACH transfer or anything like that. It actually comes as a physical check in the mail. So we refer to it as mailbox money. But But this homeowner had a 5-year plan, Chapter 13 plan, and made payments every single month for those 5 years. And, every time that homeowner made a payment to the bankruptcy court, the bankruptcy trustee would divvy that money out amongst the creditors. So that actually ended up working out very well. And for note number 6, well, this was the surprise. Okay, this is a surprise. So, note number 6, the homeowner was behind. Okay, reinstated the loan, got back on track, and was making payments for 6 months consistently. And, just when I thought things, were settling down and, money was coming in, they actually sold the condo 6 months later. All right. And because I had properly recorded my assignment of mortgage with the county recorder's office, I got paid in full at the closing. Okay. Every lender in the deal walked away happy. Okay. So, at the closing table, the title company cut all the checks to the lenders. I got my check, and that was the end of it. So, what did I learn after this first year buying mortgage notes? Really three really big things. One is that you don't need a huge portfolio to start seeing results. Okay. It was a great year. There were some surprises. There were some things that I, had to deal with that I wasn't expecting to. But all in all, it worked out great. And, for these 6 notes, there was only 6 notes. So, not a huge portfolio starting out. The second thing is I found that compassionate, respectful communication with borrowers can go a long way to win their trust and also create a win-win strategy. I know some investors, they approach the homeowners, kind of heavy-handed, and it can intimidate them. And, in my experience, I have not found that to be necessary. In my experience, homeowners are people just like you and they want to stay in their home. And I want them to do that because I'm not interested in taking their property. I am interested in the cash flow. And so for me, it's a matter of helping them do something that they already want to do. And that's stay in their home, get back on track with their payments, and improve their credit score as a result, and just move on. So that was the second thing I learned. The third thing I learned is that, positioning yourself is really very much key. When you buy right, by doing proper due diligence, you protect yourself even when things don't go the way you expect them to. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I learned that first year. If you are just getting started investing in mortgage notes, or if you're thinking about investing in notes, take it from me. 6 deals in 1 year changed everything. I actually remember going into work the day after I received my first payoff from that property in Jacksonville, Florida, and just really feeling a sense of relief that I had found something that worked for me and that was going to continue to produce income every single month for years to come. Okay, it just really brought me a sense of relief, especially in an industry where people could, lose their job at any moment. If there's a new CEO, CFO, CIO that come in, the rumor mill would start to flow in, and rumors of layoffs would start circulating, and jobs were being outsourced and things like that, much like what's going on in the world today. It's just really nice to not have to worry about that sort of thing. So drop a comment if you have any questions about any of this information. And if you're serious about learning, I'd like to invite you to grab a copy of my free guide called 8 Proven Ways to Profit from Mortgage Notes. The link, I'm going to put a link to it in the description. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell so that you won't miss another video about the lien lord life. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, thanks.